Europe boasts 12 of the 20 most visited countries. But Asia and the Pacific, with 5 countries on the list, is the fastest growing region. Mind-blowing facts and numbers with shocking statistics is waiting for you because of watching this video from beginning to the end. Number 10. Netherlands. Yearly visitors, 19 million. Tourism continues to be a big trend for the Dutch, with many of the travelers coming from surrounding nations, 80%, followed next by the Americas and then Asia. When people think of the Netherlands, they often think of Amsterdam, home to historic canals, museums both impressive and quirky, and a thriving nightlife scene. But the Netherlands Board of Tourism and Conventions wants visitors to discover it is so much more than its capital. Number 9. Poland. Yearly visitors, 19.6 million. Travelers seeking European panache without the crowds of stalwarts like Spain, France, Germany, and Italy are increasingly turning to Poland thanks to its illustrious history, including a rich Jewish heritage, collection of medieval castles, untouched nature, and delightful cuisine. If you haven't tried pierogies, you haven't lived life. Oh, and it's Central Eastern Europe's home to the most UNESCO World Heritage Sites, 15 cultural and 1 natural. The Polish Tourism Agency notes that 85% of visitors surveyed during their exit from the country would recommend and return to it. Number 8. Canada. Yearly visitors, 21.1 million. Canada's tourism industry is so immense, it accounted for $33.9 billion of the country's GDP in the first 9 months of 2018 alone. Most visitors come from the neighboring U.S., followed by China and the UK, which only recently got edged out of its long-held number 2 position of visitors to the 8 million square mile country. 2/3 arrive via Ontario, home to the Canadian side of Niagara Falls and the thriving, progressive metropolis of Toronto. Vancouver, Calgary, and Montreal are also big cities that get lots of love, as do resort towns like Banff, home to one of Canada's most spectacular national parks. More adventurous travelers seek out the country's wide-open nature in places like Churchill, where polar bears and beluga whales reside. Newfoundland, home to staggering fjords, icebergs, and glaciers. And the Okanagan Valley, Canada's answer to Napa, with rolling vineyards and superb wine to spare. Number 7. Portugal. Yearly visitors, 22.8 million. Portugal's location in southern and Mediterranean Europe has contributed to it becoming a leader in European tourism growth. Other countries growing swiftly include Spain, Italy, Greece, Turkey, and Croatia. That growth is no accident. In 2017, the country launched a 10-year tourism plan aiming to double tourism revenue by 2027, and so far, it's working. Many tourists are finding their way to Portugal's unspoiled beaches, history-steeped castles, and Lisbon, the country's sophisticated urban hub, and it's safer than many other European nations to boot. Portugal is also at the top of the rankings for European nations. Number 6. Russia. Yearly visitors, 24.5 million. Many forces have converged to make Russia increasingly popular among tourists. For one thing, Central and Eastern Europe witnessed an overall 5% increase in tourism last year. Plus, after the country hosted the 2018 FIFA World Cup, the Russian Federation experienced double-digit growth in tourist spending and a 10% boost in visitors. Finally, the country saw an influx of Chinese tourists following a change in visa procedures. As of July 2019, an additional 53 nations can use a new e-visa online program, ensuring still more growth in the coming months. Where to begin in this country spanning an extraordinary 6.6 million square miles? Moscow and St. Petersburg are of course excellent places to start, though you'd also be wise to explore overlooked gems like the ancient town of Sezdal. A ride on the storied Trans-Siberian Railway is a must as well. Number 5. Malaysia. Yearly visitors, 25.8 million. 4 Southeast Asian countries are featured on the list of the top 15 most visited destinations of 2018. Malaysia is gaining in popularity thanks to its natural charms. Rainforests, national parks, and wildlife abound, and desirable tropical temps, which range from 68 to 86 degrees all year round. Of visitors to Malaysia, the majority come from Asia. Vision 2020, the country's tourism plan, aims to see 30 million travelers by the decade's end. Number 4. Hong Kong. Yearly visitors, 29.2 million. Political changes in Hong Kong have warded visitors away, but it remains one of the most visited places on the planet, largely due to its popularity among business travelers. The opening of the Hong Kong-Zhuhai-Macau Bridge to connect the Greater Bay has also boosted Hong Kong's tourism industry by making automobile arrival an option for Asian travelers. Whether visiting for travel or business, most tourists make their way to Hong Kong's wealth of shopping malls and highly rated restaurants. Number 3. Greece. Yearly visitors, 30.1 million. With its rich ancient history, Greece remains a hotspot for tourists, growing by 2 million visitors annually for the past 3 years. In fact, 1 in 5 Greeks work in the tourism industry, even following the country's economic crisis. Some, though, fear that Greece is joining the ranks of over-touristed areas, especially its small islands. The mayor of Santorini, for instance, is limiting the number of cruise passengers disembarking on the island to 8,000 people per day. Number 2. Austria. Yearly visitors, 30.8 million. Austria may be the 12th most visited country in the world, but it's number 1 when it comes to per capita tourism in Europe. Its capital, Vienna, offers an incredibly high quality of life. Many think of Austria's Alps, which explains why hiking in the summer and skiing in the winter are the 2 top vacations for visitors, enjoyed by 41% and 53% of visitors, respectively. Many others spend their time mountain biking and exploring alpine lakes. But while the Alps are spectacular, there's so much more to see here. Austria's tourism campaign touts its 9 diverse regions to explore. Number 1. Japan. Yearly visitors, 31.1 million. The 3rd most visited Asian destination on this list received more than 30 million visitors last year. And these numbers are expected to increase as the country hosts the 2019 Rugby World Cup and the 2020 Summer Olympics. The tourism board's goal is to hit 40 million international visitors by 2020, which should be easy to accomplish. In addition to hosting the world's largest games, Japan entices visitors with its first-rate cuisine. Tokyo has more Michelin stars than any other city on Earth, ancient shrines, rich sense of tradition, and unique natural features like snow-capped Mount Fuji. Outside of Asia, Americans and Australians are the nation's biggest admirers.